Hey guys, so a bit of a different type of assignment today. We are here in beautiful Sabah to drive the new Proton X70. Now this is going to be pretty unique because Sabah poses different challenges to the refinement levels, the suspension levels, the overall NVH levels of a car. In this instance, an SUV, of course. And we are here, well, we've been driving for the past 2 hours or so, and we are on our way to Kundasang from KK, and nice roads, beautiful sceneries, but also very challenging roads as well. In terms of the quality of the roads over here, there's a lot of potholes, a lot of uneven roads, single lane roads, which of course will showcase the type of power that we have access to in terms with the 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that is in the new current generation Proton X70. And it's just amazing what the X70 is capable of. Updates, yes. Is it different than what the previous generation model offered? Yes, definitely. It's a lot more improved, a lot better car, a lot nicer car to drive, as well as to be a passenger in. I'm yet to drive the car. Actually, I spent a lot of my time in the back seat. I wanted to do this just so that I have a feel for how the car actually feels like from the back seat, so that I could give you a better perspective of how the car is generally. Anyway guys, I'm going to take you for a walk around the car, show you what's new, tell you how the car feels like and such. But for now though, a quick word from our sponsor. I'll be right back in 60 seconds. Stay with me. This video is brought to you by Berjaya Sompo Insurance. Get Sompo Motosafe by Berjaya Sompo. The less you drive, the less you pay. It's that simple. Choose from 3 different mileage plans with affordable premiums to fit your driving needs. Perfect for those who drive occasionally. Plus, enjoy extra perks like unlimited towing, 100% special perils, and all driver coverages. Ready to drive smart and save big? Switch to Sompo Motosafe today. Head over to Berjaya Sompo Insurance and start saving now. Take a quick look around the outside of the car. By now, you probably know what's new with the Proton X70 already. But one of the biggest updates to the car is, of course, the exterior of the car. The lights are all new. It is of a new design with multiple LEDs in them for extra illumination. The grille is new. You get these power domes, which a lot of you have said look like they've been inspired by Mercedes-Benz. In fact, some of you even say that the new X70 looks like it's been inspired by Jaguar. Well, the thing about design is it's always subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I appreciate all your comments, but there's one thing for sure though, it's still a very good looking car. I would say that it's a very safe design. It's not spectacularly good looking, but check out the old X70. Like this is, as a reminder, this is what the previous generation X70 looks like. Okay, and from the side profile, it does look the same. But let's take a look at the back of the car. Now, keep in mind how it looks like, because now this is how the old generation model looks like. Sorry, the current generation model looks like. And of course you get a new bumper, the lights are somewhat the same, and the side profile is basically, as I said earlier, the same. The rims are definitely different, has been updated. And overall, it's still recognizable as an X70. Of course it is. This is just what you would call a facelift. So nothing too dramatic in here. And then when you go inside, well, excuse my phone, you still get this grey Napa leather seats, but this grey color is reserved for the top of the line models, particularly the Premium X. Then the steering wheel, well, all you X50 owners would probably recognize the steering wheel because it's the same. And then the meter panel, still digital but different. It's been updated, the way that it looks, the design has been updated. Of course, the biggest update inside is the infotainment system. Now, Apple CarPlay is still not available in these models that I'm in, but it is coming soon, Proton has assured us. You also get these ambient lights over here and new trimming. Besides that, this panel still looks the same as before. You still get this huge panoramic roof, and that's where I spent a lot of time in. still spacious, still comfortable, amazing. You get your USB ports and such, so you can charge up all your devices on the go. What I do have to say though is that it's still a very nice car to spend a lot of time in the back seat. So even if you want to be driven in, it's really good to be it's a really good car to be driven in as well, which I'm quite surprised of. It's comfortable. The NVH levels in here are just surprising as well, and overall fit, finish, quality is just brilliant. You also still get this Boss switch, which makes it perfectly adapted to life if you want to spend time in the back seat. I do like the stitches though. So guys, the back seats of the Proton X70 has always been a brilliant place to be in. As I've said during the opening of this video, this is still a really nice place to be in if you prefer to be driven. And if you're looking for a comfortable car for your family, then this is also a very nice place to be in. Now, this stone grey leather upholstery that is, as I've said, exclusive to the Premium X and the Premium versions, look really good. However, I still prefer the brown Napa leather that the earlier versions of the Proton X70 came with. Now that just looks really exclusive to my eyes, at least. In terms of spaciousness, comfort, there's no denying it. The Proton X70, the back seats of the Proton X70 is a really nice place to be. You get twin air conditioning vents, you get a single Type A USB charger as well as a Type C USB charger. Multiple cup holders and lots of legroom. What more could you want? Driving the Proton X70 in Sabah poses some very different challenges to the updated 2025 Proton X70. Well, you see, the roads here in Sabah are unlike those that we are familiar with in Peninsular Malaysia. Despite what we may always be complaining about and what we are Malaysians, we love to complain about everything, our roads in Peninsular Malaysia are actually quite decent. Here though, they offer a very different challenge, because the roads that we are on right now, for example, they're nice and smooth. But I'm sure in the next perhaps 1 kilometer or so, we'll hit a bumpy patch of road, and it's just going to continue like that for a couple of 100 meters, and then it'll be smooth again, and it's just a mixture of such road conditions. But then again, the suspension of the new X70 has been refined, has been retuned even. And this is to make the car more comfortable and even make you feel like you're more engaged with the car. And that's because it's slightly on the stiffer side. But that's what everybody seems to say. There's a group of about 20 or 30 motoring journalists from Peninsular Malaysia here in Sabah, and that's something that I guess everybody unanimously agrees with. And perhaps that is something that has trickled down to my thoughts as well, because I have a X70 at home as well, with a 1.8 litre 4-cylinder model, and I don't remember it being this sort of stiff. I remember that being quite plush. I really like that car. In fact, I think that if it had Apple CarPlay and a better sound system, it would perfect the C-segment SUV recipe. Excuse me. However, that's a very different conversation, and we could discuss in length about that, and I'll touch a little bit about that later. Anyway, in terms of driving the new 2025 Proton X70, it's still as comfortable as before, it's as refined as before. In fact, on that topic, I would say that the refinement levels, the NVH levels in here are probably much better than the previous generation model. You see that there was a Toyota Hilux that just passed by, and we here heard almost nothing. You see, when the X70 was launched, during the product presentation, the engineers at Proton highlighted that the noise insulation materials that are used in the new car have been enhanced and have been, they have sort of been, what's the right word? They've used a lot more materials, particularly at the front, at the sides, and at the back, towards the wheel wells and such, which ultimately results in a very nice, comfortable interior, for example. You hardly hear anything. The bike passed by, nothing. Then the other thing over here, and particularly one of the major updates to the 2025 X70 is the engine. You see, Proton no longer offers the 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engine. Some of you might cry foul and say, why isn't Proton offering a 1.8 litre engine and such? But that is just product strategy, guys. This is the same engine that is found in the X50 as well, and from a production standpoint, it's just easier to work with one engine across multiple models. But besides that, the powertrain of the X70 has also been refined. Not refined for power, despite what those power domes on the bonnet up ahead might suggest. But oh wow, sorry, I just got to stop to appreciate these peaks of Mount Kinabalu. That is beautiful.
Speechless.
That is really nice. I wish I could show you this. Anyway, back to the case in point. So you see, the powertrain was not really enhanced for power, but rather it's been enhanced for efficiency. So how did Proton make the new 1.5 litre engine more efficient? Well, they reduce friction, they enhance thermal management, they basically upgraded the software, and then there is something that was done to the gearbox as well. So you see, between the third, fourth, fifth and sixth gear ratios, it results in lower RPM. And when you run at a lower RPM, you basically do not consume as much fuel. And this results in a powertrain that is up to 4% more efficient than the previous generation model. You might think, bro, what is 4%? 4% is nothing. But I would tend to agree with you. However, bear with me on this. I did some math, and you might think that theoretical range may not mean anything, but it does mean something in the real world. So you see, theoretically, the X7, the previous generation model, could go about 790 kilometers on a 60 litre fuel tank. But because the new model is 4% more efficient, it has a theoretical range of about 822 kilometers. So you're roughly getting about 30 kilometers more per tank. Whether or not you'll be able to see this 30 kilometers in a real world scenario, I'm not quite sure, because you will need to do a real world test to actually find that out. But then again, we are here in Sabah, where we've been driving the new X70 since 8:30 this morning, and it's 4:30 in the evening now. We drove to Kundasang, hung around there, did our photo shoots, video shoots, the works. And we have only just touched 2 bars down, and our average fuel consumption currently says 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is not bad. So in terms of efficiency, yes, it is more efficient than before. However, there are some among our group that are complaining that in terms of performance, the powertrain of the new X70 has somewhat taken a hit. I would beg to differ, because I think it feels fine. Every time I flex my right foot, the car seems to oblige. But then again, we are on trunk roads here in Sabah. So if you're going to be talking about performance, I'm going to reserve that judgment until I get the car to drive in Peninsular Malaysia on our epic highways. And but one thing I have to say is that the NVH levels in this car have absolutely hit an all-new level. In fact, it's really good. I think the interior is brilliant now. I really like the enlarged infotainment screen. And the only thing that would perfect this package, just as with the previous generation model, is Apple CarPlay. I know it's coming, we are still waiting, and I look forward to the day that finally arrives. In fact, I might just have a glass of whiskey when the day comes just to celebrate. And that's the thing about the new Proton X70. It's a brilliant package. It's a good looking package. It's a comfortable package. In fact, it has all the safety systems that you would expect in a C segment SUV. Now, the only thing that is a bit of a letdown is that Apple CarPlay. And I think you have probably heard enough of that, because every motoring journalist in Malaysia seems to sing that same song. All of us want Apple CarPlay in the X70. Besides that though, the X70 is absolutely brilliant. We spent a whole day in this car and we have almost nothing bad to say about it. And that, my friends, says something about the capabilities of the new 2025 Proton X70. Guys, what are some of the things that you consider when choosing a petrol brand? For me, I make sure that the petrol can keep my engine clean and also give me better mileage. I'm sure everybody thinks about this when choosing a particular brand. With BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M, you get precisely that. It has special German additives that reduces the amount of deposits that build up in your engine over the long term, keeping it clean. It also has improved friction modifiers that reduces the amount of friction that your engine has to go through, ultimately giving you better mileage and making BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M the right choice. So that's it then, guys. The new Proton X70 reviewed here on the wonderful roads of Sabah. Now, as I said earlier, the road conditions here in Sabah offer a unique perception of the new suspension tuning for the Proton X70. A bit on the firmer side, yes, as I said, still very comfortable as well. Not only that, but the ride and handling quality of the Proton X70 is still typically Proton, and that is a good thing. I like the way the Proton X70 handles. But besides all of that, the safety systems have also been updated to include ADAS 2.0 now, which, guys, includes 13 different advanced driver assistance systems, which I'm going to give it out to you right now. Autonomous emergency braking, forward collision warning, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, intelligent, which is part of intelligent cruise control. Then you get lane departure warning, lane departure prevention systems, lane centering control, lane change assist, door opening warning, which is brilliant because it tells you whether there's an oncoming obstacle when you're opening the door. And then you have also intelligent high beam control, traffic sign information, rear collision warning, rear cross traffic alert. Now, these are all part of the new safety systems that make up the new Proton X70. So guys, it's not just a simple refresh. Now, you might think that what Proton did over here is just slap on a few new bumpers, new fenders, new bonnet, new bumpers at the back as well, and just, slapped on some new rims. But it's much more than just skin deep. There's 360 new parts in here. There's over 200,000 of man hours that were invested into developing the new Proton X70 and over 11 million kilometers of real-world testing. Now, I'm not sure where it was tested, but I'm quite sure part of the testing was done here in Sabah as well, because if a car can feel comfortable on these Sabahan roads, then it can feel wonderful almost anywhere in Peninsular Malaysia. So I really like the way the X70 handled the roads here in Sabah. We've been on the roads since about 8:30 this morning. It's 3:30 in the afternoon right now, and we got another about 4 hours of driving left to do. So it's just a brilliant car to do it. Now, the Proton X70 completely decimated the C segment SUV segment here in Malaysia when it was first introduced many years ago. And I think it still offers a great value for money proposition, considering that it gives you over 13,000 ringgit of value, 13,000 ringgit of new things that make up the new Proton X70 now. Yet the prices start from 96,000 plus all the way to 126,800 ringgit, which just means that you're getting more value for the same amount of money. So Proton deserves huge amount of credit for that. However, I look forward to testing this in real world conditions in Peninsular Malaysia as well, because I would like to pit it against some of its competitors and especially against its predecessor, because what better way to know how far it has come than to find out than to compare it against where it is coming from, and that is its predecessor. So watch out for those videos coming up here on the Piston Show. As usual guys, thank you for watching and do consider subscribing.